Boy, you've got the opportunity of a lifetime and you're treating it like a joke.
I risk step dancing may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, Dad, but I don't want your life. I'll be in my room. My mom used to say life is like a box of chocolates. That runaway bus. It's one big piece of chocolate. Hey there, Sebastian. Welcome to the BenBen Show. I'm your host, BenBen. This episode of the BenBen Show is brought to you by 2 Jacked Protein. 2 Jacked Protein. Let me set the stage for the commercial. A woman walks into the hospital. I'm here to see my husband. He was just rushed to the emergency room. I don't know what's going on. Nurse. What's his name, ma'am? Maybe does a little cocaine on the side, or oxy. Michael Smith. Attending physician notices. Mrs. Smith? I'm afraid I have some terrible news. Oh, God, no, what? Your husband passed away just 5 minutes ago. Why? Why? 2 jacked. 2 jacked? Doctor takes off his shirt and starts flexing his pecs. Yeah, 2 jacked, like this. Does the titty thing. Miss, this may sound sudden, but if it's all right with you, I'd like to take you to dinner. That's a good commercial. I would buy that. Like, wouldn't you, like, I don't have the, production quality to do that, right? As you can see from the opening of the show. But something like that would sell. 2 jacked, and it's just funny like that? Absolutely. By the way, you may notice in my voice that there's a little bit of this, like, I have this, like, sore thing on the front, like, edge of my, like, my tip of my tongue is sore, but it doesn't look like anything. It's like I probably have like the Delta variant right now or some shit, or Lambda, or another Greek symbol variant. So it's like messing up my shit, but I wanted to record today, so I'm not going to let that stop me. And I have chloroseptic spray. I'm just going to roll with it. So I'm sorry that might be a little off or a little like, haha, that's funny, Sebastian. But I'm not trying to make fun of you if you're developmentally disabled. It's just today I have a sore tongue. It's just, I'm going to fight through it because I battle for you guys. I care about you. I care about the show. And I just, I wanted Sunday to be my day where I recorded. So I decided, fuck it, right? Go for it. YOLO. So here we are. Sore tongue may or may not have something to do with my contracting of bird flu. Apparently that, like, the first person ever got bird flu recently, H3N001 or HN0013. And it doesn't matter. Well, it sort of matters. On Saturday, I found a bird that was in distress outside of my house. It was like kind of like flying retarded, like backstroking it and then landing like into the ground and then like skidding across the ground, flying and then getting up again normally. It's like the semicircular canals, or it's like understanding of the magnetic fields of the earth was just off. It let me pick it up, and I called an animal hospital. I was like, hey, I have this bird that's like hurt or something. Can you guys do something? Like, a bird? Is it a pet? I'm like, no, it's a wild bird. And the guy's like, kind of critical, like, you picked up a wild bird on the street? I'm like, yeah. Like, well, we only do dogs. I'm like, oh, well, I don't have one of those, fuckhead. I have a bird, but thank you. So then I found Animal Wildlife Rescue online, called them, all while this bird's just hanging out in my palm, just kind of going, ding, ding, but fine, more or less, just kind of comfortable, resting, feeling the heat of my hand because it's warm and soothing. Ladies. But so I called them. They're like, oh, well, do you know it's fledgling season? I'm like, what the fuck's a fledgling? They're like, well, they're like birds that are not quite babies, but not type adults. So they have trouble flying. They fall out of the nest. They walk around. I'm like, what? weird. Do they let like people pick them up? Sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what I have. Like, oh, can you send me a picture? So I email them. Longest fucking email address like I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like, it's like, it's like the abbreviations in the beginning, like AWR Rehab, and then it's at Austin Wildlife Rescue Foundation.org spelled out at the end. I'm like, reverse that. That's really annoying. But she's like, okay, oh, I see it. Oh my gosh, it's not a fledgling, it's an adult. It's definitely in trouble. I'm like, okay. So I head down there, call an Uber because my fucking Range Rover decided to spend $60 an Uber ride carrying what looks like at some point on the ride a dead bird. And I kind of laughed to the Uber driver, like, dude, I'm spending $60 on an Uber ride going downtown on my Saturday to take a bird that's dead to a wildlife rescue place. Like, how crazy? Like, can you guys like make him better? Like, turn him back on or something? Like, I don't know. It's like, it's a dead bird, you fucker. By the way, do you bleach your tips? No, it was for a skit like 3 months ago, but it hasn't come out of my hair. People thought I was gay during June. It felt kind of good because I felt part of stuff. But like, ultimately, I don't know. I'm confused. So are you gay? No, but it's the bird. Make him better. It's a dead bird, you fuckhead. You brought a dead bird down here in Uber? That's not what happened. What happened was a smoke show of a girl working there with camo pants and a midriff. What kind of fucking animal hospital person like dresses like they're fucking like a Spice Girl? Like belly button ring, camo pants, midriff. She's like, yeah, that's actually a dead bird. I'm like, oh my gosh, but we can still take it. We have a place for the bodies. And I'm like, I kind of laugh at the situation. I ridiculous, like the bodies, and then she laughs too. I'm like, oh shit, we're eye fucking. It's happening. Connections. So then here's what happens. I told my Uber driver on the way what's happening. He knew. He's like, oh man, that's really nice of you. Blah blah blah. I said, by the way, I don't. My iOS isn't up to date. I can't add back my destination going back home with the Uber, so can I just give you $60 or something, or connect to the Wi-Fi when you get there? Yeah, we'll figure something out. Uber penalizes you, if you pay cash, and so I'd ideally like to just do it. I'm like, okay, sure. I go walk into the place, have a dead bird, trying to do a good thing. The guy seemed really, really nice. Then I hear his Uber driving away, and then before I even think about it, the camo girl goes, asshole. She's like on my level. She's like at that level. Like, she's like, knows that like, I was waiting for that Uber without even, like, it's amazing. It's weird. It's like, this tall drink of water came down on his Saturday with this baby bird. By the way, I can tell, is my camera just a little low? I feel like I'm just like Danny DeVito. Like, I feel like, I don't know. This looks kind of weird too. It's like this weird like stain. It's probably just all like deodorant, but I thought it looks like a cool design, so I wore it outside in public anyway. And now it's on the show on the internet. Y'all can see it. But yeah, so I go outside. I'm like, I'm gonna wait outside for my car. She's like, I'm so sorry that happened. What a dick. Hi, I'm Sarah. Hi, I'm BenBen. So I go out, sit on the bench. It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. It's like a country house, whatever fuck thing, just like sitting there. And again, she's like, are you sure you want to wait inside? I'm like, oh, she has to be inside. She's like, laying on pretty. She brings out a granola bar and a water bottle and sits down next to me, and then like asks if I need anything, that there's a nature walk place. I'm like, are you going to blow me on a nature walk trail right now? That's what I feel like you're about. You're insinuating. Like, I'm wearing my like velvet dress slippers. And, like, these fuckers. Like, this is not nature walk shit. You totally know this is not nature walk shit. You see what I'm dressed like. That's adorable. I'm not going to tell you. This is my thing, okay? Not yours. My thing. And she's like, oh, man, maybe if I get away from my office, I can just like give him a nice blowy on the trail. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm like, I'm not, Kelsey, I'm good. I you're great. But, I'm not that much of an animal lover. This is all an illusion. No, I am. I love animals. You guys know that. But I said I'm fine. But she checked something like 3 more times. It was really, really nice. I felt bad about the bird. I hope that I didn't kill the bird on the way there. It looked like it was going to die anyway, but that death might be worse. I don't know. dying in the palm of my hand because you're freaking out, is that like a shark that when you're alive in its claws and it's taking you down in the depths of the ocean? Or would it have been better if the shark knocked me unconscious and then ate me alive, but I was asleep? Like knocked me off my surfboard, hit me in the head, fall in the water, it eats me, but I'm technically already unconscious, so I don't feel it. That might be better because you drown and then he starts eating you. Oh, oof. So maybe it would have been better for me to leave the bird alone. I wouldn't have bird flu and the sore tongue thing. This is really, this is how I want to talk. Okay, forcing it like this. I'm forcing it. I'm a little bit forcing it because I'm like going through the pain. I'm just like fighting through. I feel like I'm in Commando or some shit. Like I'm Willem Dafoe. Speaking of which, it would be really funny if that fucker like worked at like a deli, or the seafood section, like in a lighthouse character he was in. He's like, Artemis. You got a dick like a silver dick like a sperm whale. I don't know, whatever. Just like, would you like some salmon? Ah! I can't think of it. I saw that the other night. It made me think that I did have the Delta variant or the Lambda. I was watching Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem, the Robert Eggers film. He's the guy who did The Witch. Excellent film, lovely. Robert, stay fabulous, man. He's doing a great job. Brilliant work. Dialogue's fantastic. I'm butchering it right now. Again, not my best, but he like the movie's like a surrealist madness that's going on where you don't know there's a dream, if it's real, but there's this sanity that gets lost on this island between these two fishermen or lighthouse keepers, Kiwis or a wee wee or some name I forget what the fuck they're Kiwi wee wee. Kiwis are birds and people from New Zealand. Wee-wees are penises. Wee-wee, kiwi. A wiki. A wiki is someone that like is a lighthouse fucker. So yeah, so they lose their mind. And at the time I read that like, because I felt weird. I was like, what is going on with me? And apparently the Lambda variant and the Delta can cause delirium, not necessarily COVID. So it's like, I got that. Interesting. And it didn't really affect me. I still feel kind of weird. I've been getting these like weird like itchy sensations in different parts of my tongue. And, you know, only thing I can remember is I saw like this girl, Sarah. Just kidding. No. Just like itchy parts of my skin. It's weird. So the itchy parts of skin, feeling a little delirious, feeling like hot and cold a little bit, a little lethargic, a little weird like that. I'm like, am I sick from this shit? And basically it doesn't like stop me from doing anything. Oh, and my nose feels like I was punched in the face. Like it's like swollen. Not right now. It's not so bad now. But the other day I was like, holy shit, swollen. Like as if I just had nasal surgery, and I've had 7 of them. Well, facial surgery because of trigeminal neuralgia, but through the nose stuff, a bunch of times they did that. The guys thought like, oh, you have like nerve damage in your face because some asshole when you got into a car accident 10, 15 years ago reset the bones in your face wrong. So I did everything. Had nose doctors break out the bones, reverse osteotomy. I ended up having reverse osteotomy after 6 surgeries that didn't work with chronic pain. Finally, doctor's like, hey, yeah, the ledges, all these ledges in your bones in your face, you got to push them out because they've been pushed in. I had Bill Cosby's nose because the doctor said maybe it's like your nasal bones. So he like added cartilage to support it instead of breaking the bones and pushing everything out all over, doing like a normal CT scan that where you see the aerial view, you can see like from like looking sideways down. So you can see, oh, look, all these bones are pushed in. There's these ledges. He just like added cartilage to my nose to support it because I felt the most pressure in my nose and it spread over my face. And it was like burning pot pokers all over my face for years. And then like I had doctors who were like, oh, like, you know, they'd ask me like stuff about like psychologically, like I'm like, well, my mom died, you know, from cancer and it was hard. Like, oh, that must be it. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, I was just having a nice like normal conversation with you. I'm here at the doctor's office not because of like, you know, this is not psychiatry. It's like, this is real. It's not in my head. And I was right, but this is for you guys to know if you have a doctor when you have like a chronic illness or something, and they want to think that they're infallible. You know, find the right doctor, do your own research because that was fucking crazy. Like they were trying to convince me. One doctor, actually two over the course of like, you know, I went to the Mayo clinics. I went to the one in Minnesota. I went to the one in Jacksonville. Oh man, I remember the smoke show, just like at the airport, crying her eyes out. I think I told you, I talked about this on other podcast, but she was at the airport when I was leaving the Mayo Clinic. Doctor gave me a referral to a neurologist for nerve damage specialist in Philadelphia that ended up having that like temporary like freezing or ablation where it's not like permanent. It's just like temporary to see if it works. It did, but it's like everyone in that room were like chronic cancer patients. One little kid that was like gonna die soon. We were trying to leave. I'm like, Jesus, and everyone else was 70, and here I am, just like I couldn't. It wasn't right. And lo and behold, it was derivative. I really did need actual, surgery on like physical. It was more than just the neurology being off or misfiring. Whew. Anyway, yeah, there was this girl on the plane. It was actually beautiful. Show you how cool Kelsey is. I saw her months later at Lupo Verde in Washington, D.C., which now has like a bunch of locations. I haven't been in D.C. in a while. And D.C.'s really come up, by the way. Everyone's like, it's not New York. It's not Chicago. No, I think it's now Chicago or better. I think it's right there. It really has come up. I told Kelsey, the girl's absolutely gorgeous. And Kelsey, smoke show, right? Smoke show. What are we going to do? But this girl also, beautiful girl. And she was crying in the plane, and she saw me and I saw her. And I was like, I kind of wanted to say, like, I think, I saw you crying. I hope everything's okay. Like months ago in this airplane. It was like kind of this like understanding of someone like, I thought you were absolutely, it might make her feel good, or it's just about me letting her know, like a celebrity, like, Mr. Brad Pitt, I just want you to know that when I think about my jawline, I sometimes think that maybe you and me have similar giant jaw shit, and somehow we have a connection that way. Security, can you get this weird guy with the, are you gay? No, we dyed the hair for a bit. I'm sorry, Brad. Sorry. No, but she's like, of course. So I went up to the girl. I'm like, I just wanted to let you know that you were crying on an airplane. I said, she was with her friend. Like, pardon me, all girls. So it's like easy to intersect that and not be like offensive to the man who's like, hey, bruh. Hey, I'm like, look at that smoke show there, man. I don't need this shit. I'm just trying to do a nice thing. But it wasn't that. It was like, or a selfish thing, or like something to make me feel good. I'm like hopefully she's like, oh, well, you look like you're possibly compatible with me, and unfortunately you have a girlfriend, but thank you for telling me that. So anyway, I'm like, I just wanted you to know that I saw you on a plane, you were crying, and I thought like, oh, this girl's absolutely so beautiful, and I don't know if you remember me, and she didn't. That's okay. And I just wanted you to know that you're beautiful. And it bothered me that you were crying. And she's like, that's so like crazy. It was like, yeah, my boyfriend broke up with me. I'm like, Kels, I'll see you later. Hi, Andrew. No, but no, it was that's how cool Kelsey was. She was like just like that type of person, like connections with people and stuff like that, just seeing something. And how superficial and weird that is. Like, what girl would give you that, let you get away with that? But where was I? The fuck was I talking about? The dead bird, the girl that was working down there that was like very like sexual. Like, she was very granola and like progressive, but also very like, I want to give you a blowjob on a nature trail right now, but I'm at work. Let's go. I'm like, but I'm wearing my dress slippers. She's like, I don't care. I fucking love the dress slippers. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, that was weird. And fuck that Uber driver. Apparently he lives by me, or he's like, I live in this area. I'm like, really? Okay. Well, guess what? Guess who's going on a little treasure hunt to find that license plate number? Fuck boy. I'm gonna like slash your tires, asshole. Like, imagine if it was a real hospital where I'm like dropping off like my mom who's having like, I don't know, a tracheotomy or some shit, or maybe she's having an emergency hysterectomy or something. Let's back up the track and say that I'm a 16-year-old boy with my mother who's having a hysterectomy that's very concerned about her. I'm very adult for my age, and I called to Uber, and Uber's like, yeah, I'll wait for you guys, and he says, fuck this. Fuck you! It was also a weird place. It wasn't just like a normal hospital in the metropolitan area where you can just hail a cab or call. It was like in the middle of fucking nowhere. Down South Austin and like off a nature trail of gravelly road where a bunch of birdhouses were, and like, I don't know, like it just looked like you were on a farm all of a sudden. Was that easy for me to figure out, to get the cab there? Shockingly, the cab figured it out. I was dumbfounded. I thought it would just take up my entire day. But no. The bird ended up just costing me $100, and I don't know, some blue balls from the camo girl. No, I don't know. She was really nice, really, really nice. It was nice that, like, she like, I could tell she's like, I can't believe this guy did this. This is really weird. I felt weird because I was holding the dead bird going down there in the fucking guy. I'm like, oh, I don't even want to tell him. I told the Uber driver, like, I don't think I can tell anyone this. He's like, well, what do you mean? Like, I'm bringing a dead bird in my hands to a doctor's office, asking them if they can revive it somehow. That's how I spent my Saturday. I don't think I can tell anyone about this. This is fucking like weird, like mental health shit. Like, this guy's a fucking weirdo. He's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I will. I'm telling you though. And he probably like, no, he probably is gonna blackmail me if I ever try to go by. I was like, dude, if you fucking slash my tires of my brand new Honda Accord POS, I am going to, top of the line, like the JCPenney clothes of the Mormons, I'm going to tell everyone what you did on your Saturday. It's embarrassing, dude. Embarrassing. Nature's a cycle. You took a dead bird to a place, tried to revive it. That's some freaky, weird voodoo shit. Unacceptable. No one's going to watch your podcast now. They're all going to think you're a freak. So, I don't know, man. Well, I guess we got to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, the gender re-education plan in Afghanistan is over. It has failed. We tried to educate the Taliban about gender fluidity. Caitlyn Jenner being a Pegasus goddess, but the science was simply too advanced for them. It just went over their heads. It's a shame because we had so much to teach them. So much to teach them about they, them, veer, purple hair dye. So much. I wonder if could I apply that here for what's going on in this country right now in terms of authoritarian regime and trying to force a certain ideology down everyone's throat with fear and fear of reprisal by your own government against you. I'll give it a shot. I identify as a Taliban. I don't want to be vaccinated. It's against my religion. Are you an Islamophobic fuck? If you say I have to be vaccinated, you are. You're an Islamophobic fuck. If you do not bring me women for pleasure right now, you're a purple-haired infidel. That's prejudice. Don't tell me about waiting in line for movies on 6th Street or South Congress. That's hate speech. I don't wait in lines. I'm fucking Taliban. Bitch. Also, when I go to HEB Market, I don't pay. It's like Amazon Go. I don't give a baker's fuck. Why? Because I identify as Taliban. This is some change, continuity issue. Hold on. More studio. Okay, back to studio-ish. Okay. Yeah. Horrible things. Horrible things. Just play the Biden clip regarding what would happen if we pulled out. Play that.
Likelihood there's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely.
This is the moment so many will remember. This is a U.S. Air Force C-17 at the airport in Kabul from just a few hours ago. Afghans by the thousands desperate to escape life under the Taliban. If that video continues to roll, you see the plane take off, and without showing that to our viewers at home, a few of those who cling on to that wing drop from several thousand feet above the airport in Kabul.
Those are human bodies. I mean, it's true that there's no Arabic word for jetway, which is now why we have meat popsicles in the landing gear. But you think we would have taught them about that, like now boarding groups A and B, that's the way we do it. You don't just climb onto the landing gear if you want to leave and depart. Fucking language barriers, man. Jesus Christ. In all seriousness, it is weird, a little weird, I think, that every single news organization is on Biden's ass right now, all in unison, that what happened was immediate, that Taliban instantly took over, at least as far as the media is portraying it. Again, we're not on the ground, but presumably that's what's happening. My good friend Daniel Littman of Politico, he has gotten 12 Afghans out of Kabul. I don't know how he did that, but he did it. He told me about it today. Daniel Littman, he's on TV all the time. Very, very liberal. That's okay. A friendship's beyond that. That's fine. Because it's not about that. You can be friends with people with different ideologies. It's perfectly fine. He puts up with all the shit that I say. Like the lizard people and vaccines are going to give you cancer and I don't know, John Travolta's gay. Everything that I say, he puts up with it. Some of it's crazy. Some of it's not so much. But yeah, it's weird that all the news organizations, military-industrial complex loves wars, but it's so on point and synchronized that I feel as though something's intentional. Like this is Biden's out. This is Biden's Kamala's going to come in now, and that's what she wants. Or it's like the Middle East is like a supermodel, like Raytheon is its wingman. So the plan is you ignore the supermodel, creating instability, deep-rooted insecurities going back to middle school, pre-Accutane, plot marks all over her fucking face. Then you go in for the kill. You go in for the kill like Ellen DeGeneres on an intern who scuffs up her dancing shoes on the episode when Zac Efron guest stars. That's what you do. And then you rinse and repeat. And so the Taliban are in there, creating instability. Taliban, Al-Qaeda, friends, all friends of Saudi Arabia, 1519 hijackers, 9/11 were Saudi, and we went into Iraq? What? What's going on here? It's just weird. Why is this happening right now? We're in a lot of debt. We have a debt issue coming up in this country. Yes, we do. Who owns most of our T-bills? China and Saudi Arabia. Oh, interesting. Maybe a little of Canada too. I think Saudi Arabia threatens to sell more than 750 billion worth of U.S. treasuries in 2016 when Obama wanted to pass the Justice Against Sponsorship of Terrorist Act to create an exception to the 1976 Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act. But you can put terrorists on airplane and get away with it? Yes, you can if you're an oil-producing petrostate like Saudi Arabia that has so much money that they can fly in, according to Joe Rogan, like movie stars, like hot girls, and pay them $10 million to have sex. That sounds amazing. I mean, it's consensual. Isn't that kind of cool? I always think of Leonardo DiCaprio, going through his Instagram. He literally can go, that one, too old. How old is she? 22? Too old. No, I want them in there. I want them fresh. Okay, that one. He could just do that. And it's not hypothetical, or if I did this, or a girl that likes to go shopping, like DuPont registry guys looking at cars. I'm literally going to be able to do that. That's what it is. And so I wonder, is there something bigger at play? Afghans kind of like a fucking weird whack-a-mole thing. Some distant relative of some distant warlord that knew Osama bin Laden is in a hill inside a cave. Let's bomb it. That's the shit we were doing for 20 years. No one gave a baker's fuck. Everyone was like, oh, there's a humanitarian crisis. Well, that sounds like a precursor to something bigger. Humanitarian crisis. And what's the solution to that? What's the panacea to that? Caitlyn Jenner figured it out. Tits and long hair. What's the panacea to the humanitarian crisis going on in Afghanistan right now? I bet it has something to do with something that's nothing related to Afghanistan, like Iran or something else, or some other conflict involving drones and stuff. I mean, maybe not troops on the ground, but enough to put up a bill just by suspending the Afghan war for a few months. Afghan campaign. This war is kind of weird. I don't know. We could probably pay for the COVID pandemic and have a surplus of money, right? From all the money we've printed off, we could probably divert some of the funds from taxpayer money and put them into a surplus to use for something else. Maybe we pay for the pandemic. Now we're back into neutral and we can start another war. Maybe that's what they're doing. It's just a suspension. And then in doing so, we create conflict. The suspension creates conflict, and then we have another reason to go back. It doesn't have to be to Afghanistan. It could be, I don't know, fucking anywhere. Pick your poison. It's fucking weird, man. It's fucking weird. It's amazing how the people of Afghanistan became so dependent upon us, in all seriousness, so dependent upon us as a country for humanitarian aid, all that shit, and we just leave. And we leave pretty quickly. And somehow the Taliban was like, knew it and preempted it. We were like, and knew like dead on by the hour. And then it just went to hell. And then all the news organizations picked it up instantly. It just seems so synchronized and so well put forth. And Biden's defense seems very, it almost seems like the people that control him want him out, and he was even surprised. He's like, that. Like, watch this video.
The question was whether or not the idea that the Taliban would take over was premised on the notion that somehow the 300,000 troops we had trained and equipped was going to just collapse. They were going to give up. I don't think anybody anticipated that.
We've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly. We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport. And we did.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens.
That happened 5 days ago. Oh, the people falling out of airplanes, the chaos at Kabul airport is still going on. Oh, 5 days ago. Oh, my bad. Hey, Biden, white supremacy is the number one terrorist threat to the United States. When did slavery happen? 200 years ago, you fuck? Like, what a weirdo. He sounds like he's like off. And even the defense, like he can't even do that. That's how much dementia he has. But he sounds like someone told him that, and then he's starting to, like, part of his brain's firing like, oh shit, they're pushing me out for Kamala. This is her way of coming in. And then she's the one that declares war on someone who's been hurting, I don't know, like the Kurds or some random shit. Like just that this process starts all over again, and then all the support goes to her as the savior. She is Khaleesi, queen of I don't know, arresting and incarcerating African American men. They're not guilty of the crimes they committed, but because she denied them DNA evidence, they've spent the rest of their life in prison in California. That's what happened during her campaign there as assistant attorney general. Yep, it's true. It is true. She denied DNA evidence submissions to keep her notches in her belt for the convictions. She didn't give a baker's fuck. And most of those people, the defendants in those cases, were black or minorities. She is a psychopath, man. And she's going to become the president of the United States very soon, if not already. Or the puppet, to the everything else. We know the system. It's not an authoritarian dictatorship at face value. People pushing behind the strings are kind of like it is a unification of corporatism and the government. There's powerful people. It's fascism in itself, right? The unification of the two, that play behind the curtain. It's not open, and they kind of tell you what to do. Certainly tell this administration what to do. And that old guy, man, I swear to God, it's happening. It's happening. Now, I wonder if there's going to be one more gaffe. But I suspect, and it seems like somewhat soon, I suspect in the next 6 months, something's going to happen involving Biden's health. That's going to be surreptitious and ambivalent. Like what? He went to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, and then it's not going to even be related to cognitive decline. It'll be related to something else, like a heart condition or something. And because like they don't want the implication, right? The implication, what's the implication? The implication is the puppet that's literally demented became president through the powers of third-party pushers that have all the power and yield it to be able to elect people. And how the fuck did people hate Trump that much? Well, certainly corporations were in cahoots to stop Trump from being elected. It seems like that seems justifiable. And that was it an Atlantic piece or the New York Times? I think it was in the Atlantic. Maybe not election fraud, but certainly collusion. It seems like, yeah, it's very, very. I'll just stop right there. I don't want this to. I want us to go too cray cray. Speaking of authoritarian regimes, though, real quick, look what's happening in fucking Saudi Arabia. Might as well be. Australia right now with their lockdowns. There's not enough coverage on this. Sky News Australia has been banned from YouTube from promoting anti-COVID vax shit. But more importantly, they're asking kids to or parents to take their kids to a stadium to bus them in, and then you can't go in with your kids. They're all going to be vaccinated like cattle, like going into Auschwitz. Well, I shouldn't say that's the time. Innocent Jews going into Auschwitz that were treated like cattle. It sounded anti-Semitic when I was trying to prove a point that's supportive. It was weird, and they can't come in with them. You just give us your kids. It's like, what is that a metaphor for what's happening with the school system and in general? Indoctrinate the children, would Lenin say that or Marx say it? Give me your kids, and in 5 years I'll give you, Marxism or communism, whatever. Give me the children, and I'll give you power or something. Whatever. But yeah, it's creepy. And this guy gets pulled over. I saw this other video. They want him to go to the hospital or something. I don't know. I'm not going to play this one because it's weird. But I watched it the other day. The context is out, but basically gets pulled over. They want him. I don't know what happens, but he says they want him to go to the hospital to talk to a doctor, and he's like, I don't want to go to a hospital to talk to a doctor. And they're like, well, we're not forcing you, but it's what we want to do. It's like, well, we have to. And he's like, well, what do you mean you're not forcing me? You're not letting me go back in my car. Well, it was really weird. It's like, talk to a doctor about what? Is it like a traffic stop taken out of context where they're worried it's a mental health issue? I don't know. There's creepy. They fucking watch this one. This one I'll play. Fucking military government helicopter telling people to stay inside, do not go outside in residential neighborhoods in Australia. Look at that shit.
Also, I just want to show you about how far we have come and how weird things are in Australia. As you know, I've talked a lot about Queensland and the stupid sort of Goldilocks rules that this is allowed and this isn't allowed and this isn't okay and this is okay, and how over the top some of the policing was. At the height of the non-existent second wave in Queensland, this is what they were using the police helicopter for.
This is the police to the three people sitting on the building rooftop. Yes, we can see you, one with a hoodie in the middle with your cold drinks. The building is surrounded by police. We need you to return to the ground floor. Return to the bottom immediately, please. Put your hand out to your right-hand side so I know you understand. Put your hand out to the right so I know you understand.
This is not an active shooter situation. These were three kids having Coke Zero on the roof of a building on the Goldie. But you're surrounded, you're surrounded. This was all part of the Ramp It Up campaign that, of course, the Queensland government was so richly rewarded for just a few weeks ago.
What the fuck is going on? That is so excessive. Look where we are right now. I know Australia's very strict. Drug trafficking. Try to get your cocaine into that country. No way. But it's weird because the disease is already there, and lockdowns have not been good. COVID lockdowns, arguably most infections, according to many studies, I think 98% of them, they said, happened within the household in the United States, not out in public, but in the household. So people bringing them back in, infecting people in the household, and that's how they got it. And I think that's the anecdote, more or less. But it's so it's kind of derivatives. Well, they went outside and they came back. So where did they? Well, yeah, but the rest of the people in the house, they were not infected until the person that was out in the world. But the point is, I guess, what is going on, man? You can't force vaccination. It's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. People that get the vaccine, and it's I can't even talk about this. I can't say, right? Because this whole video, what's the point of doing a video? Because they're just going to ban it. So I can't say really much about vaccines. I just think it's a little strange. People, I thought normal, isn't the whole idea that I saw a Reddit piece that was anti-vaxxers are stopping us from going back to normal. I'm like, not really. They still want you to wear a mask. They still want you to some countries like Canada, Australia, England, UK be locked down. Even vaccinated people still. It's like nothing's changed. It's getting worse, and there's constant fears that there's something more coming, like the South American Lambda variant. And the people are ignoring science about having a vaccine that essentially does not stop the spread of the virus. You can still be infected, but it lowers the symptoms, can create super strains and encourage mutation. I talked to an epidemiologist the other day that said, I think that the next thing that will happen is that children will start to die. And that's the most unifying characteristic. There's some people that are skeptical of vaccinating their children, so for children spread the disease. I'm like, well, it's funny because in the beginning, why did you let kids on airplanes without a mask on? They smell their fingers, stick their fingers up their butt and smell it. They put their boogers everywhere. They're disgusting. But everyone else has to wear a mask. It doesn't have. By the way, it doesn't have to be N95. Just anything. It's fine. And the kids don't have to. That was retarded. It seemed like if you're going to make people wear masks in fucking airplanes. But now I think to unify everyone publicly is to start reporting deaths of children. And if the Lambda variant is impervious to vaccines, say it wants to directly attack the immune systems of young people, or it has a direct ability to do so, that will be the next scare thing that's really frightening. It'd be completely legitimate. It's just scary as fuck, right? Because we were told a long time ago this would not be a big deal, and it seems to be. Dude, it's fucking nuts, man. It's fucking nuts. There's it's very anathema to want to go out and deal with this bullshit. I went to a coffee shop just the other day. Like, well, you have to wear a mask if you're ordering coffee to go, but if you're coming here to eat, you can to have coffee and like a donut or whatever the fuck, you can not wear a mask. I'm like, so you're telling me the people there that wanted to be sat down went up to you, just as I'm walking up to you, decided I want to be seated versus I want to take my coffee to go. And they went through the same steps of process that I'm going through, but because they made the choice to stay here, they don't have to wear a mask. I just wore a mask for them and I'm happy to comply, but I'm like, that sounds retarded. It's enclosed space, you're letting people not wear a mask, and then other people, they have to wear a mask. It's like this, it's superficial. What health officer or something that's enforcing that told you that's a good idea? It's so contradictory and doesn't do anything. It's someone's like threatening to shut you down. This is what you have to do. I remember when Gold's Gym was around. They were like, "Oh, well, just wear your mask when you come in, but then take it off. It's no big deal." And I'm like, "What?" It's like, "Well, it's just so the health inspector doesn't shut us down." Don't you care about people, like the efficacy of it though? Like, it's crazy. It's just it's so weird, man. It's all about money in the end. It's all about money in that regard. The booster shots are interesting. I don't know, maybe a third shot is good. A fourth shot. Oh, well, we haven't reached our quota. So many people are unvaccinated. We have to start scaring people again because we had an agreement with the United States government about how much we would, be able to sell. And if we didn't sell that amount, given the amount of R&D research we did, the government would be forced to buy a bunch of vaccines that, were useless inherently, wouldn't be able to get that back through taxpayer money through the profits of Moderna and Pfizer and so on. Who knows? But I'm just saying, it's just really funny. It's like, oh, what a booster shot? Oh, what about another shot? What about kids 5 years old wear masks at school? It's like, it's just weird, man. It's weird. I don't know. The riots going on in Australia, just like, it's creepy. The more like posting to social media I do and stuff like that also like creeps me out. This the disconnect between like being normal and human and like what I'm doing now, like just being. I miss just being. Oh man. Just not being part of this like weird like disconnect but connect to a process of like, I don't know. It's very creepy. It's also like skew morphological. Remember that like the like for like Apple products, like the notepad looks like a real notepad in real life, and people are like, should it be like that, or should it be more, technologically advanced where it doesn't look like a notepad you would buy with that's yellow with the lines. But I'm starting to see the connection between the technologies that are advancing to help people navigate the web, whether that's artificial intelligence and like lower tiers of artificial intelligence in terms of data processing and application and smart AI or smart learning or whatever. These pseudo intellectual terminologies for something that's very, very complicated. But I have a boat. No, I don't know. It seems like it's starting to mimic like life in a weird way. It's becoming more and more clear to me that life in the way we live and the probability outcomes of like, what's the likelihood that I will use the bedpan tonight or go to the bathroom to pee, and what's the likelihood of how many milliliters of water I will drink to when I would need to go to the bathroom. And it's like you start to see these things in like e-commerce and stuff like that in a different application, kind of like physics when it comes to like, say, financial calculus or something like that, or quantitative analysis. And it's like you start to see these odd connections, but not being exploited by nature or by the circumstances, but like by people. Like we're running derivative code of something that's inherently natural, and it's creepy as fuck because it like makes things seem, I don't know, less serendipitous, less just like chaotic, and more I don't know, planned in some creepy fucking way. I don't know. I hope does that make any sense? Oh man, it's creepy. God, this hair. When will I get my hair back, man? What's the deal? It's still yellow. It's so weird. When is it gonna go back to normal? I have dark hair. It's weird. It's like it's not. It's like, you know what I mean? See it? It just looks really long still. On the sides, I guess not as much, but on the top, maybe that's like, it's like re-bleaching with the sun. I do get a lot of sun. I like to go for walks, and I like to frolic in nature and stuff. But man, now people just think I frosted my tips. I feel like such a Matt Damon F word. You know what I'm saying? No, I just feel like, I don't know. It just seems like very effectual. Like, this guy is really vain. I'm like, yes, but not for the reasons you think. This is for a bit. And in general, I'm an incredibly insecure person. But thank you for that. I'd probably be more insecure if I jacked off for money on OnlyFans to gay guys. And I try to justify that with my friends. Like, no, I'm not gay. It's just what I know the hair. I get it, but I do it for the money. It's about the money. I like to eat. It sucks I have to fast and all the time to have the abs, so the guys really like it when I'm jacking off and my lower abs are showing. It's really unfortunate because I don't remember the last time that I wasn't hungry, but I need to pay rent. OnlyFans is denying people explicit videos. Denying sexually explicit videos. That's the whole premise of the thing. But now they're saying, nope, come October, we're not going to do that anymore because Tim Stokely, the founder, wants to sell out and go public. And the underwriters, the people involved in the SPAC, this is sort of special purpose vehicle for going public without underwriting, doing a normal initial public offering. You use like a shell company and then you go public through that. It's interesting. It costs less, and it might be that this, you see it everywhere now. But it's, or Spark, which is another form where you don't have to put any money up front as an investor, which is something that that Bill Ackman's proposed, is because the excessive fees largely involved, and also the idea that people's money is just tied up. And some people have questioned Tontine Holdings, his SPAC, for being essentially an investment vehicle, because he takes the monies that are invested and invests them into government securities, I think, and maybe even kind of conservative equity investments. I think it's predominantly treasury bonds and stuff like that, maybe some corporate bonds, but I could, like, AAA rated. I could be wrong, but just for sake of interest. And there's a lockup, a 2-year lockup, and it's like, well, no. Why don't you identify the place with pledges and you don't actually take the money until you have the target identified and is approved by the investors in the SPAC or SPARC. Anyways, people don't want to be, associated with like, they want like a little bit, something a bit more normal, like something artistic, like when I do my thing on OnlyFans, I see people comment like, "I love how your left testicle droops ever so slightly lower than the right one, Ben." I'm like, I know it's beautiful. Contrapposto, all about that. The slight imperfections, really, it's called wabi sabi in Japanese. It's really that's the art form. You don't need any of that. You just the beauty of the human body, male, female, they, them. Now, some they, them bodies, that's really interesting. Like some Pegasuses and stuff like that. Some Pegasi. Pegasus doesn't seem right. Pegasi sounds better if that's even real, but I don't know. That sounds cool. Unicorns and stuff like that. That's sexuality of that without being sexual activity. Fine. Yeah. I think MindGeek and Pornhub is going to do the same thing. I think this is all going towards ID verification. Really, really is what social media is going to go for. Twitter does not make money, for example. Like if I want to look up a tweet, say Trump's tweets, for example, and I was a student in high school when he was president, I would just go on Google and say, oh, what the fuck did he tweet now? Shithole country, if you're from Delaware, it's a shithole. Yeah, the beaches are shit. It's shithole. Florida's so much better. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, what the fuck am I saying? Yeah, I feel like all this, like Twitter wants to basically let people that are trying to self advertise use their platform for a fee. I think that's what they're going to settle on. They're going to force people to verify themselves to make sure all the accounts are valid. And once they do that, they have a legitimate, okay, here's a person, here's a social. Now they start paying us for services or something, to tweet. And those tweets are then circulated through all social media, like Google, news, if that's called that social media. I don't know. Facebook takes derivatives of that, screenshots of tweets, but basically it filters out through. So the advertising is through multiple platforms. But finally, they have a sticky revenue stream of subscriptions where Ann Coulter or Tim Dillon or whoever the fuck or me want to tweet about a newest episode, and then I pay a fee per month to tweet. And that just seems to make sense because there's so many people that don't actually engage with Twitter because they don't have a business. There's no reason to. You can just look up tweets through the internet and it's fine. You don't need to actually have an account. Kind of like Joe Rogan and Spotify. The clips that are still on YouTube are teasers for the made show on Spotify, and slowly started to come over. It took me a little while, but now I finally got Spotify, came over, starting to look at the shows. Interesting. It's good. That helped. But ultimately, a tweet is only so many characters. There is no teaser. That is what it is. So you don't need Twitter. That's the problem. You don't need it. It's completely unnecessary. Fuck you, Jack. Just kidding. Jack, you're great. Can I borrow a bill? Prime +1. Billy. But yeah, it's just, that's what I think is going to happen. Yeah. I mean, porn is porn. That's fine, but the lot of stuff will be about protecting children and stuff like that, and protecting sex trafficking. That's what they're going to use to justify stuff, like Apple going into people's iClouds to look at child porn pictures and saying, "Oh, that's all we're going to do. We're just no big deal. You signed up. We can do that if we want to. So tough shit. But we're not going to look at your private stuff just to see if you have child porn." Yeah, in no way this is going to be anything bigger than that. No, not at all. Right. So I don't know. I wrote an article on Medium about that. You can see it at some point. Go to Medium. Go to benben.medium.com. Take a look at it. Holy shit! I'm running out of steam. How long have I been talking? I don't know, about an hour. About an hour. I feel like I've been running out of steam here a little too much. A little too overly caffeinated. I feel like I'm fading. Kind of like fading. The world definitely feels like it's going to get crazier. I just fundamentally, the changes are nuanced from just staying at home and working, or not having to be evicted. People that are losing their life savings, the idea of mass vaccinations, that there's new variants potentially coming are far worse, derivatives of the Delta variant of COVID, or of Corona SARS viruses that are potentially more lethal in terms of their symptoms. Scary, man. It seems like things are going to get worse. And the stock market is like going like this, like literally this is what the curve looks like. It's like, what is that? Is this a double black? Oh, I didn't know. Are we at Whistler? Oh, weird. I had no idea we were at Telluride. It's just like, what is happening? There's a huge debt crisis going on, just in terms of just the landowners, the landlords. That's enough. We were supposed to have a kind of a reversal in the markets every 10 years or so. Didn't happen. It happened synthetically with COVID, right? Shutting down in businesses, but I don't think it was necessarily congruent with a normal recession. It clearly isn't. I mean, we're at interest rates are super low, and we're riding this ridiculous. How is this not inflation? It's insane. Of course, it's inflation. It's here. It's going to end badly. But the geopolitical aspect of it, the socioeconomic aspect of it, and then the austerity measures of the government in addition to that, in summation, is just like, what? Am I allowed? Excuse me, Mr. Officer, can I go pee? Shut the fuck up and stay in your house. Okay. It's just like, it feels what it feels like. I also feel like people are starting to get a little crazy. This is my Ring Central camera thing outside my house. These two hoes that look like soccer moms or meth addicts that went to a Salvation Army and stole some tennis clothes walked into my house, and I wasn't there when people were doing work on it, and asked the guys about the crown moldings, all the shit they were doing. They're doing the floors and some of the tiling. They were like, "Oh, we're just looking." Like, if these guys are working there, like, I don't know, these just fucking white people or whatever. This is what they do. And I wasn't there. No one was home. And then they left. Didn't steal anything, as far as I know. And that's it. And I don't know who the fuck they are, but they're probably in my neighborhood. They weren't, there was an Amazon package outside. No one stole it. So they're just like, really, I don't know. They were decided to do a, what do you call that thing? Like window shop or something? Browse the work of a contractor at my house. What? Where's the audacity for that fucker? Like, what's like, what is that? Is that a thing? And I talked to some people that are older than me, and evidently this is very common for women of a certain age to feel incredibly entitled to do stuff like that, and I should just get used to it, particularly in more affluent neighborhoods. Yes, there is some privilege. Yes, I understand. I did earn some of it. Some of it was inherited. Yes, I understand. This is grotesque. I will give all of the money to a estate planner to make sure that the government gets none of it. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I will give it all to I don't know, something, maybe like some organization I start, or some foundation for the opioid epidemic, which everyone seems to have completely been ignored by. It's crazy. No one gives a shit. It's COVID 24 hours a day. What about heroin? What about it? Because of fuck. COVID. Yeah, so it just seems like I don't think that would happen in a poor neighborhood, is all I'm saying. I don't know. It's very, very strange. It's just like this audacity. It's like, imagine like someone has a brand new Bentley and like their car isn't starting, and like they're just like, oh, well, I just use my neighbor's car and it's fine. Like that type of shit. It's just weird. It's like in Texas, you can be shot if you feel threatened. Like walking up to someone's house. Like, I don't know. Like it's who randomly walks around saying they want to do a B&E? Carol, what are you thinking? I think I'm missing some crystal stemware. I think you're right. I think I'm missing, I don't know, some new bathroom tiling. Let's make a deal. How about that house? Ooh, there's a truck outside. Do you see a Mercedes in the driveway? I do not. They're not home. Fantastic. Let's go. And that's what they did. But no, it was harmless. I just I don't know. Very, very, very disconcerting. So yeah. Oh, Johnny Depp, $50 million defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard, Mrs. Borderline personality disorder extraordinaire herself. I'm just kidding. I don't know what she has, but she seems like a person that's not necessarily the best person in the world. Johnny Depp seems like a guy who's not like a serial abuser of women all of a sudden in his 50s or 60s. He might be upset he's lost a lot of money, but I think he seems like a very laid back, drugged out guy. But again, I don't know. It's just usually singularities like this, like Woody Allen decided to become a pedophile like in his 60s, and it happened like just once. Like that, he just arbitrarily coinciding with the fact that he had an affair with, again, I know it's fucking weird, his adopted daughter or something like that. That was of age and not blood related, adopted, but still weird. And spite from his ex-wife, lover, friend, whatever. That seemed to be just a perfect storm of shit. Here, it's like, it's weird. It's very disconcerting. And like, also, who do you date? Do you like take pictures of shit and like record shit behind their back and like itemize, like that's his cocaine? Who does that? Like, it's weird, unless you're trying to do like get something out. It's just so fucked up. It's also amazing that she even have $50 million. That's an incredible amount of money. When did that happen? Like how is that? Is it just a number you come up with? You know, she doesn't have it, but you can like apply it to her future earnings. That's crippling. I don't know how that works. It seems like she's kind of a psycho bitch. It just seems like it, you know. She talks about these numerous instances of abuse, and then people have refuted it. They've shown that like actually one of the instances it was self-inflicted. Blah 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 blah. This is a Fairfax County lawsuit. The one in London was thrown out against the Sun, I think, the paper, for defamation, saying it was like justifiable. It's really funny. So there's no substantiated allegations. There's no like legal proceeding of conviction. It's he said, she said. In this circumstance, Amber is just talking to a magazine about being a victim of spousal abuse or something, but not identifying Johnny Depp directly, which is a really great way of getting out of like a settlement deal. Like, you know, it's like, oh, I can't mention him as that, but I'm gonna say I'm a victim of abuse by a pirate that had a brother who was retarded and a mother that was overweight. I also used to make candy with him at his candy shop before he pelted me with Wonka bars. And that's all I'm going to say about the matter. I like my privacy, and I don't want to, you know, violate the terms of my settlement agreement and millions of dollars I received from this person whose initials shall remain JD, which could be anything. Jonathan Depley. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, again, I've been dealing with this papilla. It's just swollen. I actually had this before 2 times in my life. I had it in Myrtle Beach. My friends invited me down there like to play golf, and I was sick most of the time. I went to a strip club and started having an affair with this girl when I was like 19, and that was interesting because it was very strange to do. My mom had just died, so whatever. It was like a summer. It was nice. And then I started dating another stripper there, and the stripper that knew me from the other relationship was really upset. I was banned because they were fighting. But the one that I ended up dating was also a Playboy playmate, so that was fun. So, you know, the Czech girl may or may not have gotten pregnant. I don't know, but I have not seen any lawsuits, and I'm very grateful for that, because the last thing I want from the bottom of my heart is side kids. No, but also I was underage. They made me wear a pink shirt. Crazy Horse, Myrtle Beach. You know what I'm talking about. Hi, good to see you. Yeah, it turned out okay. But yeah. Then I happened again when I was in Monte Carlo. I was staying at the Hermitage Hotel, which I actually like better than the Hotel Paris, mainly because of the view. I just prefer it. Also, you can see the fireworks directly from the harbor. You know, from most of the. It doesn't matter. It sounds like name dropping or something like that. I'm sorry. But I had it, and I had a doctor come up. It's amazing. The doctor just comes to my room same day within an hour, gives me a pill. It like dissolves in the tip of my tongue, and it goes away. So it's something. It makes me think again. I heard people getting sores on their tongue because of the Delta variant or Lambda or whatever. Pick your Greek alphabet, fucker. So maybe a little off today. Not perfect podcast. I'm sorry. I wanted to get it in. I know it's like a singular event. Like, well, you could have gotten in when you were healthier earlier. You could have waited. Yeah, but there's this pressure because I'm editing the video. Like all those clips you see, Instagram, TikTok, all that jazz. Look at this. It's like a little like dick that's just stay, get up there, Get up on that dick. Amber. Call me. I'm just kidding. She's sexy, I guess. Sexy, but like psycho. I think Paul Bettany seems like a nice coked out Jennifer Connelly, good father person. Apparently he's like a druggy person or something. That's fine, but also balanced. I have lots of friends like that, high functioning cokeheads. Not really, you know what I mean? Just recreational. Like, oh, is that magic mushroom? Sure, nothing wrong with that. I have a really good job. Yes, I just bought a summer house. Right? It's like, oh, what are you supposed to do? Oh my God, they're not part of the epidemic of like, addiction. Perhaps there is something missing in their life to where they feel they need to go there, but I don't think necessarily. I think that's very, very fine. Like someone to tell me that Elon Musk taking acid is like, oh, that guy's losing it. Really? You ever watch his recent video where he's actually at SpaceX talking to some tech guy on YouTube, and he's talking not in the bullshit like, well, I work 16 hours a day, and like for 10 years you call me lucky. Not those like memes. I mean like where he specifically detailed about the rocketry. It is like people don't see that from him that often because he's mainly not talking to those people that are technically affluent in that regard. Like the boosters, the fins, the angles, some of the lift and the rocketry in terms of just like how fast you have to go to achieve a gravitational equilibrium to then maintain flow and all this shit. Like whatever. He is so he's almost anticipating the person's question. He's so on point. And apparently he's living in a fucking tiny house in Austin. Dude, I just pretend you're rich and pretend you have kids and then pretend you're Elon Musk. And just let's say you have all the nannies in the world, but the guy hangs out with his kids all the time. You can see pictures. He posts them all the time. How the fuck are you Elon Musk? He had kids a long time ago. Like how do you do that? Kids, they take everything from you. Oh my God, it's insane. It goes from, can I borrow $10, Dad? Can I borrow $20, Dad? Can I borrow $50, Dad? Can I have $250,000 so I can go to school? And then ask you for money because I decided to major in dance theory? No, but like for dude, like he's crazy, man. He's crazy. Like he's so balanced. I don't, the energy level, like, you have like these like, Jeff Bezos. Well, I tend not to take meetings after 10 o'clock because, important meetings after 10 o'clock because that's really, when you're a CEO, you only have 3 important decisions to make per day. Okay, fine, fantastic. Talking about like Elon Musk making an important situation about rockets that have people in them at 1 o'clock in the morning because he has another hour to work on Saturday because he likes to work till 2 o'clock in the morning 7 days a week. I would not do that. I'd push that one off to Sunday, but he would. I wouldn't trust myself, but he would. It's unbelievable. You watch that video. It's like 3 videos. He's just so acutely, he's proficient with his speech, and he doesn't say anything more than he has to. It's incredibly concise, but very, very in-depth, very technical. Beautiful, brilliant. One of our true geniuses. Oh, man. Maybe you can save OnlyFans. I don't know. Find a way to have the payment processing avoid the banks so that we can see some more sex. I want women to be able to. I wrote my Medium article. Kind of like there are sex workers through the internet that are being hurt by this, whether it's Pornhub ID verification that would affect their day job, the industry vertical of their career, admitting to who they are, but people are saying, well, this is for the sake of human trafficking. Well, a lot's going to be for the sake of human trafficking. A lot. That's going to be used over and over again as a ruse to take away people's civil liberties in situations that have nothing to do with that. Like the internet, I believe, social media, there's going to be more ID verification coming. It's going to be designed as, well, we have to protect people. We want to know who they are, so it discourages child sex trafficking. Like, who's going to say no to that, right? It's like, of course. But that's the problem. It's like it's wrapped up in this perfect thing. Like, Black Lives Matter. They just told my mother she's a white cracker whore. So are you telling me you hate black people? Because if you hate BLM, that's what you are. You're racist. That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, so you like you like Pizzagate. You like children. You like children that, you like to give them pizza that has anchovies on it. Huh? You're one of those people? Kids don't like that. You're one of those sick fucks that likes to force BDSM kids with pizza with really unattractive dead fish on them. That's what you are. This is all a metaphor for sex with children. I'm just saying. Yeah, anchovies. Look it up. Point I'm making is, it's I see it. Just wait. I see it. The monetization's there. Twitter and everything else is ID verification. Yes, that's the future. It sounds very simple because it's like, well, your ID is kind of already embedded in your IP address and like things you do online. Like that's why it's just your search history. You can see people bidding for the right to sell you stuff based on what these JavaScript embedded codings and like keystroke loggers for X, Y, and Z. But it's a bit more official than when it comes to monetization, and also control, like self-censorship. I'm this person, so I'm not going to tweet that because that's me, and I have a job and kids and a mortgage. Like that's the thing that they're going to like do. It will force self-censor. We're not censoring you. We don't have to because you have a job and children and child support payments. One of the funniest things ever in life, the convention of throwing fathers in jail who aren't paying their child support. What do you think that does to the relationship with the father? Every circumstance is the same. Oh, he can't afford it. Oh, so he's just a deadbeat dad. Really? What if you can afford some of it? Nope. The court's number is official. So he's behind in child support payments, or he's paying a portion of them, but he can't pay the whole thing, and you can throw him in jail, and the kid's going to get nothing now and grow up without a father. What do you think the cycle is there? Fucking idiots. And why is it that's a predominantly male association? Fucking squirrels. Fathers being thrown in jail. It's, you know what I mean? It doesn't help. I'm just saying. Oh, misogynist. How about that word misandry? Nothing? Nowhere? No? Nada? Celebration of mediocrity is designed to cull the masses so that they're subject to the powers that be, and they are not a threat. That's just how I see it. It's nothing to do with pro body image, pro like poor people. That's just pro like quality, whatever quality of outcome. It's all a ruse to get people to be subservient to something bigger, so they're not a threat to the system. And it's worked incredibly well because so many people are dependent upon electronics now that you can start to bend the rules of what's acceptable and what's not. And then you can start to control their income and control what they say. It's not so much what you believe, it's what you're capable of saying. The Redskins changing their name recently, but what's it going to be? Red Wolves? What the fuck is a red wolf? What does that have to do with anything? Isn't the most racist thing about the Redskins the fucking red? Right? If you believe that name's racist, it's nothing to do with war paint. And Cherokee Nation's already said they didn't give Baker's fuck until FedEx threatened to pull their funding because they were afraid people would boycott them with purple hair. Like, I'm not going to use you anymore for the Redskins. I'm going to go to UPS. All right, guys. Dan, sorry, we got to change the name. Like, we're going to pull our name from your stadium and not give you any more money. I'm like, fuck. That's exactly what Dan Snyder thought. And he's like, this is bullshit. My team. It was his team when he was a kid. They say we wanted Dan Snyder, But he does like the Redskins. He was a Redskins fan when he was a kid. The Armada, that unifies people, DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, from the Potomac River going right through it, right? But there's no armadas on rivers. The Spanish Armada on a river, it's not, it doesn't have the same. Nah. And DC, Maryland, Virginia aren't fighting with each other. So who are we fighting? It's like, we wouldn't send our armada to fight Dallas. We'd send ground troops. It doesn't make any sense. The whole thing is retarded. But the fact that they're saying, oh, it's gonna unify DC DMV, I'm like, oh shit, fuck, that's what it is. That's what it fucking is. It's gonna be something like that. The red hogs, okay, fine. But what the fuck is a red hog? Again, it's a racist hog. It's taking the red skin of a Native American and applying it to the hogs. This is the offensive line back from like 1991. That's what you're doing. It's a non sequitur. It makes no sense. Let's keep the racism, but also bring in poultry animals. What the fuck are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense. It is so retarded in every way. Well, we want to keep the color scheme. It's just that name Skins. It is? What if it's just like I don't know, like if we were just called the Skins, no one would say anything. It's the connotation that Redskins, along with that image, implies the Native Americans are red-skinned, which is like the blacks. She was called the blacks because of DC, like it's predominantly black. We're the blacks now. It'd be kind of cool. We'd have cool uniforms like black, like kind of like Any Given Sunday, like Willie Beeman. My name is Willie Beeman. I keep the ladies creaming and all my fans. Shout out Jamie Foxx. If you ever want to come on the show, please, man, love to have you. We'll fly you in on your dime and I give you money for whatever fast food you want and put you into a Motel 6. We'd love to have you on. Love to talk. You know, like, oh, you're contagious. Touch me, baby. Well, you didn't sing that, but you know what I mean. Sexy Lady Driver. That's the Isley Brothers. Yeah, you're not in that. Aren't you in one of the R. Kelly things, Trapped in Closet? You might be. Boom, boom. But then I saw her from the back room, and she was, pissing on him, and I said, no, I piss on you. You don't piss on me, baby. Sorry. Fuck. Off today. Papilia swollen. So yeah, I have no fucking. I think I've shot my load, so to speak. I hope it was good for you. I know I enjoyed it. That's what she said. Subscribe down below. Have a lovely, lovely week. Stay fabulous. Probably be up Monday-ish. Yeah, I think maybe Tuesday. Tuesday's probably better. Who the fuck looks at social media on Mondays? People like this on Mondays, like this everywhere. I think people actually effectuate what they should look like on Mondays, so people leave them alone. They're not actually as tired as they think they are. They've had some time to rest on Sunday, maybe. There's no party because they're going to work on Monday. So they're really, the Bloodshot Eye thing should really be Sundays. But they do it anyway because they're like, I don't want to be talk to anyone because I know that I have 4 more days of this shit. And so I'm going to pretend to be more tired than I am, or just really, really, like, I like to do this thing. This is why I like to walk around. People will like leave me alone. It's like really serious, like, do you see like someone 6'6" that is walking around like shopping for milk? You leave that fucker alone. You might be like, God, I wish he had fucked my daughter. He's so handsome. But otherwise, you know, it's a funny thing. If I drove a Bentley, I drive a Bentley up to a thing, like, you know, there's a liquor store, there's a grocery store, this little shopping center by my place, and then I get out. There are mothers that are like pimping their daughters, like literally, like, I got a hoe for you. What? That's a social thing. It's like, oh, it's like an animal. Like, he's 6'6". He's, you know, seems relatively good looking, handsome. Oh, he must have money. Oh, here, fuck my daughter. That's what their mom's doing. I see. Now, what the dads have done it to me too. There's a little bit more like, because they're, you know, one dad's like, oh, you should come to dinner to our house on Sunday. I didn't do it because I'm not into that thing. Also, the whole like rich girl thing, or people like I've never been into the whole like hierarchical and incestuous, like, well, my family's in the oil, and I'm like, what is it? This is so gross. It's love's love, man. You love who you love. You know, the whole idea of like loving someone because like what they do for a living or what their family's worth, how many beach houses they have, or private jet and Corsica, Costa Esmeralda, Porto Cervo, Italy. Oh, there's a lot of regrets. It's okay. It's all right. I'll get there on my own. Have a lovely rest of the whatever day I put this up on, so it's relative. And subscribe if you want, or if not, it's okay. I just want you to do what you do. You click the bell. I don't even know what you do. You click the bell. You subscribe. You click like. Talk amongst yourselves. Here's a question. What's your favorite sparkling water? Talk about that in the comment section. I don't know. All right. See you later. Bye.